Good morning to all. Our chief guest, Shri Dr. Akshay Agarwal, Vice Chancellor of Gujarat Technology University. Mr. Das, from ONGC. We have Mr. Ashwini Hiren from Tata Chemicals. Shri Shubhodray Gali, Trustee and Honorary Secretary, and Dr. Rajesh Khajuria from CT Institute of Management. Mr. Manu Chawla, Vice President, Federation of Gujarat Industries, dignitaries of the dais, ladies and gentlemen, and students. On behalf of Gujarat Technological University and CK Shah Institute of Management, Federation of Gujarat Industries, and all of us here, I extend a very, very warm welcome to all our dignitaries. I would also like to welcome our esteemed speakers for the two-day conference, the teaching fraternity, industry members, and the students community for the second National Conference on Business Ethics and Corporate Governance. Well, business ethics and corporate governance, this is a topic extremely close to my heart. And I do sincerely believe it is very crucial to the survival of business in the long run across the globe. Longevity, in fact, is the best index of success of a corporation, and good governance is a necessary condition for longevity and growth. In recent times, ethics and good governance has received tremendous attention throughout the world, including the emerging markets like India. We have made some progress in this area in the last decade, but we have a long, long, long way to go. Well, corporate governance, of course, is about maximizing shareholder value legally, ethically, on a sustainable basis, while ensuring fairness to each and every stakeholder. It could be the company's customers, the suppliers, the investors, your vendor partners, of course, the government of the land, and also the society and community as a whole. The corporate governance is a reflection of our company's culture, policies, and how it deals with the stakeholders and its commitment to values. I think we do all know about this. But where are we? I firmly believe that corporate governance is a necessity and no longer a luxury for companies in contemporary India. It is time to make traditional values like honesty, integrity, transparency, accountability, decency, and respectability for others fashionable again. India has been known for these characteristics, but we need them very, very much today in this country. If you want good governance, you need good leadership. We need men and women who are daring, who can dream big and make sacrifices to establish ethical tone in an organization. We need business leaders with integrity. We need corporate chieftains who are committed to good value system, and they should walk the talk in demonstrating their values and beliefs in whatever they do for the organization, for the community, for the family. And that's what we have always said, the head of the family is a pillar of the house. Similarly, a leader, head of an organization is certainly the pillar of the company. Without this, no corporate governance system will work. Company leaders therefore have to create an environment. So it's important, just as the head of the family does, the company leaders in an organization have to create an environment, a framework of rules, regulations, guidelines, relationship systems, and core values that will govern the organization. In industry language, we call them the code of conduct. We normally have a code of conduct. We have written them down, in the company. But what is important is to very closely adhere to that core of conduct in an organization. It is the top-down chain of command. So if it's there at the top, it will trickle down to the lowest level of an employee in an organization. So incompetence sometimes can be excused, but not transgression of values. And that is where the top leaders in the organization have to be extremely sensitive that any transgression of values have to be dealt with very strictly. And we do have examples of in the Tata companies as well as the Narayan Murthy company. I mean, we all know about it. Having said so much about ethics and corporate governance, let me dwell upon a completely different aspect. Most companies today, now I'm going to be talking from the company, the industry point of view, and all the students here who are going to be the future entrepreneurs or the future professionals must know that they have to undergo multiple audits. You know, there are so many audits like GMP, BRC, ISO, safety audits and social audits and systems audits, which have become the order of the day. You know, we export to USA, so we also have something called CTPAT. I don't know if some people, I'm sure somebody would have known about it. It's Customs Trade Partnership Against Terrorism. If you export to USA, you have to have global security verification. So there are so many audits that a company goes through when they export, and even if they don't export, of course it's up to the company. But for export, yes, they are a must. But it is in recent times that we have an ethical audit in an organization. We as a company export to Walmart, to Target and some of the European countries, and believe me, ethical audit is something which is a part of it. I still remember that 3 years ago, when Walmart came to do an ethical audit in our organization, we failed at the first attempt. We were very, very upset about it, but believe me, what they said is, well, everybody fails literally 2 and 3 times. But we made it a point that the next time when they came, we passed that audit. What is important is that they did not allow us to start production till we passed that ethical audit. And it's an extremely painstaking effort which a company has to undergo. But what I believe at the end of it, you know, it was so tedious, because you got to train every person in the organization, every employee in the organization. An organization like ours has about 800 people. So it meant so much of training for 3 months. It took us 3.5 months to get through that audit. And what is important is till that time we have to block that capital or block that investment which we had done. But at the end of the tunnel, we are extremely happy because we today have a very robust system, a self-corrective system, which tells us if we are going wrong anywhere. So let me just tell you what is this ethical audit all about. This requires a certification called SA 8000. It's a new thing. It's still not become mandatory, but let me tell you, in a couple of years to go, this is going to be mandatory for exporters to various countries. Now, what is the objective of ethical audit? The objective is that you as a company also are sourcing goods and services from companies which are equally authentic and which are equally ethical. So the buck doesn't stop at us. The buck stops at even the suppliers from whom we are buying. I can give you a simple example of Superdrug, which is a chain of, like Boots and all, pharma drug, in Europe. And Superdrug was buying some perfumes from a company in Gujarat near Surat, and they found that they were using child labor, and they stopped buying from there. There is an example of Gap, who's a garment company, and we all know who buy. Gap is a very big chain, again, which sells garments in Europe and USA. They buy a lot of garments from India. They found a similar thing, and they've stopped buying from these companies. Now imagine these are companies which are employing, literally this Gap, I remember employing about 1,200 workers only supplying to Gap. So please remember that how ethical audit has become such an important aspect of an industry today. If you want to be a good exporter, an exporter to large multinational, this is going to be mandatory in a couple of years to come. Now, what is an ethical audit? Actually measures the internal and external consistency of a company value based, both proclaimed and actual. You know, a lot of us companies, you know, proclaim that we do this, we do that, we do this for our workers, for our employees, for our shareholders. But here there is an absolute examination of what you proclaim and what is actual. So the audit is value linked and has twofold objectives. They check the accountability and transparency towards your stakeholders, and they also check that you have an internal